like about to go to middle school. It
Okay,
was
so yeah, I was too young to even watch that at the time, and I don't think I've only seen like one or two episodes of the first season. I've never watched it before, but I'll give it a look.
it's
It looked interesting.
It's a great show for sure.
Yeah,
And it's
I know it's revered.
it's because that was before shows like that were cool. You know, like Sopranos set the stage for like television telling cinematic stories like that. You know what I mean? And now everybody wants to do it. But
yeah, I think HBO does such a good job at making shows feel like movies, like you're getting like an 8-hour long movie.
Yeah, exactly.
They definitely, you could tell that the quality of show that they're bringing out there is it's more of a coming from the heart more than other shows. And I don't want to speak on other networks, but their network is actually bringing out more great stuff than other cable paid networks are. Except for Showtime, because Showtime does bring out some good stuff here and there.
Showtime has some pretty good stuff too.
But, okay. And then I also want to because they just released season 5 and 6, Saint Seiya. If you've never watched this, just imagine like Power Rangers, but with mythical robes, as they call them, and they're in English dub. So actually go watch them. I've never watched them in English before, and like I told you guys about the Sailor Moon thing, it was super awesome because it's like kind of refreshing to get a new perspective on it, especially when you're bilingual. Because like I've heard them in Spanish, I heard them in Japanese, and then like hearing them in English is kind of cool. It's kind of different, and it's cool, and it makes it interesting to see the perspective of or see the fucking cussing words. Sorry, and I said a cussing word right now.
Yeah.
But seeing them cuss is like really crazy. It's like it's super weird to hear that an anime like that cussing in English, or swearing. I mean, and also I wanted to add this one for Atlas because he was bugging me the other week about wrecking this, but El Hoyo on Netflix,
the platform.
So I want to give a shout out to my assistant because she actually wrecked this when she was there, but I actually watched it the next day. Goblin Slayer, an anime. I watched it in English. Sorry guys, don't hate me. But it's super good. It's so graphic. I believe all three of us saw like 10 minutes of it, and we're immediately like reminded of like a lot of stuff that we watched. But I definitely watched it. Super good. Don't recommend small children watching this. But yeah, it's super awesome. So if you're into anime, go watch it. I think there's on Crunchyroll, and they have the dub version. I personally, to be honest, found it on YouTube. So I found the dub version on YouTube as well. But I actually watched it on Crunchyroll too. So yeah. So those are all my recs. Sorry about that. Sorry about the long explanation thing. But yeah.
No, all right. Me next. I just have one for you guys, and it's Underwater.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Yeah, it's definitely doesn't. I feel like it's got a low score on Rotten. Nobody went to go watch it, and it's pretty badass movie, dude. I think this might be one of Kristen Stewart's best performances. It does wear its how do you say, like, its influences on its sleeve. Like there's a lot of callbacks to Alien and Prometheus, and kind of it's that style just done underwater. But I'm also a big fan of what they call aquatic horror, where it's like a horror taking place like some Deep Blue Sea or something like that. Or
fucking Shark Gate, man.
Deep Rising, yeah, exactly.
I hate underwater horror movies. I hate the ocean in general. I really feel like when they have like Discovery on Discovery Channel, when they go like underwater and look at stuff,
Yeah.
I get like claustrophobic. I feel weird watching that. I don't like watching it for too long. I feel like I'm actually underwater.
Well, it's like what they say. It's like it's better to be lost in the desert than being lost at sea.
Yeah, I'd rather be lost in the desert, to be all honest.
Well, yeah, because you're on land. At least you have somewhat of control of your surroundings. Somewhat.
Yeah.
Water, you're in a whole nother fucking like in like
world,
a
basically.
habitat. Like it's not your
can't
habitat. You can't
Yeah.
breathe. You can only float as long as your muscles allow you to. You know, it's not a good thing. But yeah, the movie for what it does, it is very claustrophobic and
Yeah.
intense, but it really does throw you right into this kind of catastrophe that happens and doesn't ever let up. I thought it was going to take a completely different route because it is a PG-13 horror film, but it really does do some shocking things, and the effects are good in it. TJ Miller's really good in it as the comedic relief. Yeah, he was really good.
Okay.
So you're never gonna watch this, James?
No, I'll still watch it because
Yeah.
I'm interested in that one, but I didn't hate. It just gives me an uneasy feeling, but I that's what those movies are supposed to do anyways.
Yeah.
So to get that claustrophobic feeling, so I guess it's doing its job.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on then.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
All right, so the movie focus of the week, we're doing a double feature. You guys are still there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You guys are so quiet. And I'm just like, whoa, what's going on? We're doing the double feature of The Strangers, and I call this Chapter 1, The Sprout and the Bean. We're talking about the original Strangers this time. It's actually, this is really weird, okay? So, back in 2007, that's, or when this film was supposed to come out, was the year that I graduated. And it was pushed back 2 times, I believe, and it didn't get to come out till 2008. And I remember being really disappointed because it got slapped with a PG-13 rating. But now, all the write-ups for this movie saying that it was rated R when it came out. Now, I do initially remember when the DVD was released, they did an unrated cut, which is like...
Yeah, I've seen, that's one I have.
It's like 5 minutes longer or something like that. But I would put money on it that film was PG-13 when it was released, and it's so weird that I cannot find anything to back me up on that. Do you guys remember anything about the rating around the time that this came out?
I don't remember anything specifically mentioning the rating when it first dropped. I remember seeing the trailer scaring the crap out of me.
Yeah.
I don't remember any rating for this specifically.
Uh-huh.
I remember the trailer, but I don't remember the rating. It's weird because those, especially those horror movies in the late 2000s, where like some of them were like PG-13, and some of them were rated R. But the PG-13 should have been rated R movies, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if specifically why a certain movie would be rated differently than another one, but it is what it is. But I don't remember that.
I think
I only watched the unrated one.
They would cut a lot of the movie. They still do it now. It's just they'll cut down a movie that's supposed to be more violent, and they'll cut it down in hopes to get more ticket sales. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be like, no, we're going to cut this scene, we're going to cut that scene, you don't really need it to be there, and that way they can get like a cleaner rating. But sometimes that really does affect the movie. And that's the thing, is that's why I initially did not like this movie at all. I thought it was whatever from what it could have been. I was like, wow, this movie could have been a lot better. But going back to my write-up real quick. So it's a thriller. It runs at 86 minutes. It's a regular version. And it's got a 48 on Rotten Tomatoes. The synopsis I wrote up is: the film follows a couple, Kristen and James, who after a night of self-doubt and rejection head to what's supposed to be a romantic getaway. But after being harassed in an already secluded area, things turn deadly as the fight for survival continues. The film stars Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman of Underworld, I believe, the original, and Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Poor guy.
This was directed by Brian Bertino, who's done a few things, mostly in the vein of this, little smaller horror pictures. I think he's not too bad. He's got a good eye, I think. This film does a really good job of creating an intense atmosphere where you can feel the looming danger around our main characters. The film, like most horror movies, is quite short and gets to its point rather quickly. Do you guys agree with that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's almost within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
When everything starts to, when the strangers start to appear. Uh-oh.
That was me, by the way.
No, it's
Totally me.
An impressive thing about the film for me is that the couple is already unhappy, whereas Kristen told James earlier in the evening she couldn't marry him because she's not ready, which makes what comes next all the more horrific. So, because they kind of scoot everything along really fast, because this is a kind of, follows a formula of a kind of a classic slasher film. So we meet our couple, and what's his name in the film? James, right? James is basically, he's planned out this like super elegant, like, oh, I'm going to propose to my girlfriend. She's going to say yes. And then we're going to go to this like secluded, like cabin looking thing house. And he has all this, like the rose petals, the whole nine. And then they had planned, was the next morning they're going to go on a road trip, right? I believe. And what happens is they basically, what's her name? Kristen messes this up by saying no, that she's not ready to marry him. So then it's super awkward, and they have to basically go back to the house, and she finds all of this stuff that's like pre-staged for her and feels really bad.
That scene sucks really bad. Yeah, that is like, oh man, like you just feel that like, oh, like, man, you thought it was going to be great. You thought it was going to be great. Mm-hmm.
They really go out. Like, he's trying to go out like that. Like, all right, dog, I see you.
Why did James end up leaving? He needed to go to the liquor store or something, right?
Yeah, because and it's really weird.
Well, he was
right?
pissed off anyways.
He was mad. They start to fool around, and then they're rudely interrupted by the first stranger girl. I think they call her in the mythos, it's Dollface because of her mask, even though she's not wearing her mask when we first meet her. But so she knocks on the door. On the door, they're about to fool around. He goes. What's his name? James goes to the door to investigate, and it's this young lady, and she goes, "Is Tamara there?" And